Good morning. What a great crowd. And doesn't it feel like fall is coming? Yes. That heat is gone. Oh my gosh. Oh, the heat is not coming back. We're going right into fall leaves. Fall leaves is going to be beautiful. So we have a great word today, harmony. Harmony. So what do you think when you hear the word harmony? You feel love, togetherness, cooperation, all of those really cool things, right? Well, when you hear the word harmony, what do you think, Patty? Don't let out the secret. You think tranquility, brotherhood. Yes,
yeah,
brotherhood.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, actually, our mother grew up in Harmony. And it's a little town, and so Eric's going to show you a picture of our mother. I think we look just like her. Come on, there she is. Ooh. Aw, doesn't she look cute? Well, she grew up in Harmony, and she loved Harmony. It's in western Pennsylvania. It is a historic town. Well, in the last 6 years of her life, she shared my home with me, and she had a little bit of dementia, but she always wanted to go back to Harmony. So one day, the caregiver was taking a nap. She unlocked the back door. She pushed her wheelchair out the back door across the rocks, and she was running down my street yelling, "Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Will you take me to Harmony?"
Now, was she talking to the neighbor?
Wow. So my young neighbor boy, he's ringing my doorbell. I open the door and he goes, "Did you lose somebody?" Well, my mom loved Harmony, and it is such a great town. I just have to show you. So now this is what's in the streets of Harmony. Look at this. Is that wonderful? Quaint white fences, cooperation. Think about this. Oh, and there are even some of the log homes around. Wow, is that cool? Well, this is the founder of Harmony. His name was George Rapp. He founded it in 1803 or 4, I'm not sure, 1803 or 4. And he was from Germany. I feel like he and probably the founder of Zelienople were friends, right? Because Zelienople was here and Harmony was here. And Patty said, well, you can just step out of Zelienople and be in Harmony. That's what it was like. Well, it was a really funny story. He believed in fellowship. He brought farmers with him that grew grapes and made wine. They were big winemakers. And I just found the coolest little saying, because not only did he believed in community spirit and fellowship, but he thought the world was going to end. So he believed in celibacy. So the community didn't make it. I wonder why. And I found this really cute little saying in the paper. It said, I think that they gave a lot of beer. Don't you think? The men drank a lot of beer, so they were happy. It said, beer drinking don't do half the harm of love making. That is just out of the Little Harmony newspaper.
Oh.
Isn't that funny? I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. We have so many stories to tell. But we have some really beautiful, peaceful, harmonizing quilts to show you. You ready? And now it's time. Was that a good lead-in?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't
okay.
even interrupt my stories.
Well, you were doing such a good job.
Thank you.
Didn't she do good? Yeah. Yeah, I was learning too. I didn't know all that.
So what is really interesting is that Benartext named some of the fabric after Harmony. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, and you tip over and show this way, and you guys make lots of noise. Ooh.
Did you notice it looks a lot like the one on the wall? Just a,
So there are
a
two
lap
sizes
size.
in your pattern. This is the lap robe size, and the one that is hanging on the wall is just the wall hanging size. That makes sense. And the only difference is this one is has an extra row at the top and the bottom. And that's what makes the difference. Ah, and so I'm trying to think, Patty, I think the one that, the fabric that is called Harmony is this one?
I'm embarrassed. I didn't even realize there was one called Harmony.
Oh yeah, it's called Harmony.
Oh, is it Harmony? Oh,
How did you know we
look
came
at
up with all
Teresa.
these names?
Oh, that's Harmony.
Yeah, that one. This
that's
is the whole
Harmony.
card.
Okay.
That is okay, a style. It's there, like the whole line is called Zillian, but each piece has a different name, and this one is Harmony. See, right here, Patty.
I saw it.
Study this.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't do my homework.
See, this is called Harmony, and this one is called Irma's Bouquet. Who's Irma?
Our mother.
Irma. Yeah, our
Irma.
mother. Our mother.
Hi,
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So Patty did this one. She actually designed it. She's all excited. She got her name on the pattern. Aren't you excited for
Well,
her?
I'll tell you how the Harmony came about. Eleanor, well, the new fabric came out, and Eleanor said, "Here, now you make some quilts. You design some quilts."
That was good.
What do you think? Does that sound like a challenge that I couldn't resist? Well, I actually stayed up all day. I called Amy Potter and said, "I'm making this quilt. I'm going to put me on your schedule for, I don't know what day, Saturday." And I stayed up all night, woke up Friday night, and I said, "Oh, I hate it." So I just changed it. I just moved some things around, and then I said, "Oh, that looks like Harmony." To me, it was more balanced. So,
It is. It's very
so I did
balanced.
get Harmony through the quilting, actually. Harmony, peace. Okay.
So we have the two colorways, both of the quilts using Zillian line Harmony, and Patty always comes in and says, "Elle, I want to do something different." Shh, okay, Patty, what are you going to do?
I don't always ask for permission.
No.
I just do it.
And so she has taken the same pattern that you have, and this one she just knocked off, and it's beautiful. Look at this
Colors
one.
this is the bright version. Yeah.
Definitely the bright version. Definitely the
And
bright version.
you may have noticed it's a little bit fussy. Big fussy cuts, little fussy cuts, and well, you know what that means. You have to cut holes in your fabric. The holy fabric. And I have to tell you, when I look at this fabric, I'm thinking about Audrey Hepburn. While I'm cutting, I like to watch old movies while I'm sewing. And this I made watching Breakfast at Tiffany's. I just kept cutting and cutting. And I guess obviously they're not all in this quilt. So I made another quilt with the, you cut out the big fussy cuts, and then the little ones you make smaller fussy cuts. So
That's for next month.
yeah, this is next
Yeah, I'll
month.
come.
So if you're concerned, am I wasting all this fabric? Don't worry, you can always cut up some more little fussy cuts and do another quilt.
Very
so
cute. So do you want to see the back of this one? Just
it's really
hold
pretty.
your breath. Look at this.
Oh, it's really
Isn't it
pretty.
beautiful? Just beautiful. So you can see this is all Amy Potter's work. And if you notice, she changed the colors of thread for each of the fabrics, and on the top, it's all the same color of thread. Very time consuming, but beautiful. Okay.
So, a little variation. You know, I don't always follow my own directions, but but if you realize the quilt on the wall, you kind of see an extra fabric, which in this quilt, I couldn't find another fabric.
Okay,
to
hold, because
break
he's
it up.
just on it.
Okay. This is an extra fabric in the half square triangle that on this
The
one,
white background is broken up with that half square triangle.
and here you just see that solid light framing the diamond pattern. Yeah, so you can, yeah, obviously you can do it either way.
You're allowed to do what you want.
And you do, and you will.
We know that. Okay, so I don't know, this should we pass? That is so beautiful. I hate to put it aside.
Oh, well, we can put
Yeah, you can
Oh.
figure it out, Teresa. Teresa's here with us.
Hi, Teresa.
Say hi.
Good morning.
Okay, and she was strolling around the Quilt in the Day store, saw some fabric, how unique, and this is what she did.
There are some little critters.
Little critters.
Little mice. And these are the really sweet mice you like to have in your home. And they are, you can see what the mice
Here,
do
I'm going to
during,
give this to Eric
during
to
the
do a
daytime.
close-up. Go
They-
real close on the mice.
They have all these activities.
Aren't they cute? They play all day.
And each one of these centers is a 3.5-inch fussy cut. And you might have one in your hand today. Did you get your fussy cut
Oh,
rulers?
your fussy
You
cut
can just take
rulers.
that with you, keep it in your pocket, and when you're looking at fabric, you can just check for the size. And let's see what this little mouse is taking a nap.
Here,
It
let's
says
see if we can show
relax.
something to Eric.
Oh, I fell
kinda
in love
little.
with the fabric.
So this one right here, he's taking a nap.
It says, relax.
Relax. That is harmony, isn't it?
Yeah.
Relax. It's really, really cute. And this guy, he's just looking at the flowers. I'm not fond of mice.
Oh, she has a problem.
I have a problem
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
country with mice.
Okay.
They figure it out.
Let me point out something on the, you see we have a star in the middle, a big star and a little star, and then it kind of looks like a large triangle framing that center star, and these are fussy cuts, and it's actually a very large flying geese patch. So you don't have to put a seam down the middle. And I'm going to show you how to cut those. Now, if you have any fabrics with nice pictorials, little, birds, whatever, Christmas fabrics, if you don't want to cut it up, this is a wonderful opportunity to use those fabrics in this quilt. And so I'll be showing you, if you notice, the mice, we wanted them to all be, since it is a directional fabric, we wanted them all to be right side up. So I'll show you how to cut those so they're all going the same direction. So,
Oh. Okay.
All
So
right.
so Teresa and I were going to put the blocks on the wall first. Should we
Oh.
do that? Okay. Is this what you're looking
Oh,
for?
yeah. Well, I wanted to point out the different uses of our fabric. And on this lap size, I used a stripe. You notice the border stripe around the outside edge Well, that same fabric was really easy to turn into that fussy cut. If you notice, it's got that little red outline on it. You see it on the fabric and again on this fussy cut right here.
So you're using the stripe.
Yeah, there's lots of different options, and we made it adaptable so you could choose whatever fabric you want to use. And if you do like this fabric, I know where you can get it, and it's got 4 repeats. The wide stripe, 1, 2, and then on the other side 3, 4. So you have 1 for each side of your quilt. And then the yardage, we did give you the yardage, which includes enough to get that fussy cut off the end. If you cut these strips apart, and then you can cut from the end of each strip before you do your border. You want to cut off that rectangle. It's a 6 1/2. What I did was I took my 12 1/2 inch square up, a 6 1/2 inch square cut from paper on the diagonal, and then you tape a triangle on each side. I just rolled up some little tape, Scotch tape, tape it on, and then we'll cut. Let me just see.
Okay, you're on page 4 and 5 right now. 4 and 5.
Through the magic of, what is this, video? I don't know.
It just popped out and it's all done.
It's cut. Yeah, it's already cut. And then you can see that you do want to cut it so that it's 6 1/2 inches wide. Because
and 12 1/2 inches.
12 1/2, yeah. And you can kind of slide it along this, the strip and find your fussy cut. And just center, you can see it's got all these little kind of little rosettes or your groupings. And if you just center it, looks like we need to go to this one to get the full 12 1/2 inch length. And then, here comes a little more magic. And it's cut.
Do that again. You can go, you're done.
Did you
cut it?
Okay. Now, let me just mention a couple other things. We'll get one fussy cut from the end of each strip. Also, from the end of that strip, you need, oh, I guess somebody got there before I did. That little mouse was here. Okay. These make perfect little 3 1/2 inch fussy cuts. And these fit perfectly in the center of the
stars.
So you can see that. And also I want to point out, with this fabric, you can see how identical flowers line up from one strip to the next. So if you want to have all the same flower in your fussy cut, then you just cut them just from this, from the same fabric. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I'm ready to sew.
I'm glad. Oh, she wants to sew.
I want to sew. I've been cleaning house for days.
She wants to sew. Okay, so what we're going to give her, there's let's see, we have some 6 1/2 inch squares that we're going to do. You remember the old-fashioned way to do a flying geese. You just draw a diagonal line, stitch on the line, trim, and then you press out. And then do one on the other side. And I do have my own little method of cutting, of marking.
I'm trying to feed her stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking for the
pencil.
I thought I had a Sharpie.
Okay.
Let's see.
How about that? That'll work.
Okay, we'll use that. Okay, so we're going to draw the diagonal. And these, okay, I think that you kind of decide which side you want up. I think this kind of forms a little triangle.
Yep.
So now if you're drawing that line with your ruler, you can just line it up from point to point. And usually sometimes we back up a little so the line will be right directly on the point. Well, I don't back up. I just, yeah, I'm terrible at backing.
I don't back up very good either.
Yeah, I don't back up very well. Yeah, I just keep my ruler right on the tip. So when that line is drawn, it's just a little bit offset. And if you stitch right on that line, that will accommodate the press seam. You know, it shrinks a little when you press it up. But I don't know, do you like to pin? Maybe not. Well, oh, she doesn't need to pin. Well, I do pin. But,
I never pin.
But okay.
I want to show you. Teresa gives me about 3 pins right there. That's all I get.
Okay. Okay. Well, she's got her hands working really hard. Just don't let it shift.
Don't worry, I won't.
Okay.
So you're going to make 4, just like this. 4 of them.
Okay.
Okay.
So she stitched on the line, and then let's see.
Is your iron hot, Teresa?
We're just going to trim.
1/4 inch away.
Yeah.
You remember I saved all those.
I know. I
want that back.
I know. That was a pretty big piece to throw away. If you don't want to throw it out, just put it in your scraps.
It's enough to make.
It's a nice big chunk of fabric that you can do something with on your scrappy quilt. It's very, yeah, you don't want to waste that.
You can square this up to any size, really.
Yeah, you can.
Pretty big.
That's true.
Okay, I'll just do that one while Teresa sets the seam, opens and presses.
And while she's doing that, I'm going to get the other side ready to go. Oh, this is a good team. I love it.
Yeah, really, 3 people. That's how you get it done in a day.
Yeah, yeah. That's what, oh, now we know you're the truth.
Okay, Teresa can set that one. What's that? Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of these triangles is just a tiny little bit smaller than the other one. So if, well, no, because it was offset, and you want the smaller one to be to the outside.
Really? So do I sew on the line?
Sew on the line, yeah.
Okay.
You know what, Eleanor? I forgot. I didn't check your sewing. But I'm going to check it on the next one.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I thought I was doing so good.
Well, we'll see.
Uh-huh.
Tell us again about the smaller. Maybe if you use, I think on this one.
Oh, yeah, maybe a pin might help.
I have my stiletto.
She's a pro. She'll get it right. Okay.
Our mother taught us to sew.
Oh, it's just a little bit smaller. Okay. Okay. So
I'm
this
getting
is
very confused.
okay. This is what I refer to when I said check it. See, now it shifted a little bit. I know it doesn't seem important, but when you watch and see what happens when you press it out, it falls short because it shifted.
Oh, just cut that part off.
Okay, I'll cut it off. I'll cut it off. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. But just for your information, what I usually like to do before I trim it, I like to check and see if these two edges line up. I don't know if you can see that.
That's
But
very
if-
precise. You can see it.
Don't see a thing.
You
Okay.
are lighted and you're
How
seeing,
many of
right?
you worry about that 1/16 of an inch seam? I want a show of hands. You're lying.
Well, the reason I'm telling you that is, okay, we'll just go ahead and take the ruler.
Oh, no.
Now, the only reason I'm telling you that is whenever you put all your pieces together, don't you like them to fit? But there's also the option you can stretch it and they will fit. So that's what we're going to do in this case.
Quarter of an inch.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, that's the only thing I wanted to point out. Normally when I do this, I always check. I press it out, check it, and then I trim it.
Okay, so now you're going to trim that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so you make 4 of these.
yeah, make 4.
And this goes around. How about, Teresa, maybe if we have the star, the big star for right in the middle. We'll just lay these out, okay? On here.
It's right here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Because we want to show where these are going. Teresa told me yesterday she just got so confused. She just didn't know where these guys were going to go.
Oh,
And so they're going to go around this outside edge here. And you can see the one behind me. Okay. Like this.
here, can I do it?
Uh-huh. Yes,
I know
please do.
it's a long stretch for you. Okay.
Okay.
And do we have another one?
Yep.
Nope, nope.
Oops. That's for this afternoon, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we should have another one.
It's right
There.
here.
It's right there.
Oh.
Woo!
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so good job. Yay! We got the fussy cuts. I'm boogieing
Good.
backwards now.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, while you're doing the next one, these little mice.
Told ya.
The mice come out when you least expect it. You see a mouse. And these little mice, can you kind of see how you can kind of center them in your little mask, in your triangle? You can do it one way, and then for the sides, we'll do some of them going this way, and then for the other side, and then for the bottom.
I get it.
Okay.
Good. Good. Okay. So, did you make 3.5-inch fussy cuts for the center of my stars?
Ooh, maybe not. Let me do that real quick. Okay.
So, this is your new fussy cut ruler.
3.5 inches, and you can just center it. That looks okay. And then we'll go around and around and around
This is
and around.
scary.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, that scares me.
Oh,
Very,
Yeah, you can put that back for me.
okay. So
Oops.
one thing I didn't mention, if you know all those fussy cuts that you saw that I did from that Audrey Hepburn fabric, well, when we do a identical fussy cut, somehow I didn't quite get the corners. What I like to do, couple different ways. You can trace the outline.
God.
It's terrible. I think
We're going to spend our whole program
I know. I
making
think it's a
fussy
rotary
cuts.
cutter. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought.
I already have one done anyway.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me.
I thought you should demo it though.
But Can I just point out, sometimes if you want to have identical, we need 5 fussy cuts for the lap size and 9 for the wall hanging, 9 for the lap. And if you want to have all identical fussy cuts, in the past we've taken and kind of, you can put a piece of Invisigrip on the back and trace the outline and then always line up at that drawn outline. But I have another little trick. If you don't want to mark your ruler, you can just find the same fussy cut and I just replace it. I just put it on top of the already cut one, and you can see how all the flowers, the stems, everything lines up. So I just put a little dot in each corner, and then go back and cut it. So that's my little tip. Okay. All right, here you go.
Cool.
You have your center.
I get to make my geese now.
Yeah.
Okay. For the stars, so I have to ask you, how many of you have already used the geese ruler that looks like this, Quilt in a Day? I'm just curious if there is anybody that never used it. Let me see. This is the new ones for sure. Cool. Okay, so we're going to go really quick and you're going to review it, right? Okay, so on this ruler, I need a blank sheet. Let me show you. The ruler that you're going to select is the one that we just refer to really quick as the 3x6 ruler. The 3x6. And if you look, the outside edge is 3x6 finished, and then there's red lines on it, and it's for the smaller 6-inch geese, and it says 1.5 by 3 inch. So we're going to use the 3x6 points for this part of the star, and then for this part of the star, we're going to use the 1.5 by 3. Okay? And I know you guys lose your directions for how to do this, right? And you don't know what size squares to make, and what a problem. And I wrote it down. Okay. I'm going to solve the mystery for you. When you make these geese, you use 2 different sizes of squares, a smaller one and a larger one. And so I always think, okay, well, if I just fold this in half, that's going to be the geese part, and this will be the background. So you always go, okay, which one's the small one and which one's the big one, right? So if you fold that, then you kind of know, oh, that's what I'm going to end up with when I'm done sewing. So this is how you remember the sizes of the squares. I'm making right now 1.5 by 3 inch finish size for the small star. And you just have to remember the magic number 1.5. Okay, so here I wrote, and let's see, okay, good. 1.5 by 3 plus, what's the magic number? 1.5. And so the new number is 3 plus 1.5, and now the new number is 4.5. That's the size of this square, 4.5. Okay, now take 4.5 and add 1.5 more, and now the new number is 6. And guess what size this is? 6. You got it. Now you don't have to go to our internet site and find out what size were those squares supposed to be. Okay, so I'm putting 4.5 by 6, right sides together. I am on page 6 right now. Teresa, you going to be my assistant?
Sure, what can I do?
All right. You better do it accurate because Patty's standing there watching.
What am I doing?
Okay, you're going to come right here and you're going to cut and press for me, okay? So you draw first a diagonal line. I'm at 1/16 inch off. Oop! I fixed it. Okay, so you come around because you're going to have to cut and press. Okay, so now we've got, and people always say, do you have to draw the lines clear out to the corner? I started, but you don't really have to draw that. No lines out to the corner, because all you're going to do is sew 1/4 inch from this side. You're going to go like this. You're making every one we are going to get 4 geese for 1 star. So you make one of these for every block that you want to make. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I sewed on both sides of the line, right? And now I got to see if this rotary cutter really works. Okay, so now you take and you cut this right down through the middle, da-da, and you play with your geese, honk, honk, okay? Okay, so now you take them and you drop them on the iron with the light on top, the big triangle on top, okay? I'm right on page 7, number 8. And once you set the seam, you open and you press it. So the seam is behind the large triangle, okay? Okay, now you go, okay, these look really weird. So you're going to put these right sides together. Okay, this is background to green, background to green, background to green. Okay, and your initial idea is take these seams and line them up and lock them up, but don't do that, okay? So you take and you line up the outside edges, okay? And now you know that it's right because these are the geese tails. Honk, honk. See them? When you got goose tails hanging out, it's right, right? So now you draw, tell me those experienced people, now you draw another diagonal line. And usually I start in the middle and go out, and I'm a 1/16 inch off again. Oh my goodness. Well, the cool thing is you square these all up. Okay, so now what do I do? So 1/4 inch. Nope, now you go beep, turn the page. Beep, turn the page. And now, I have them, see it says right there, do not lock the seams, right? So this was actually Loretta Smith's method, a lot of you are wondering. Okay, there is a seam that is going the opposite direction. Okay, I'm just really going to watch this seam. There's a seam underneath. It's not going the opposite direction. This one is going the opposite direction. So you really got to hold it down. The key is to start out with the light, the background at the top, and then when you get down at the bottom, just flip it around. You are making all of these together. So now, whoop, okay, don't cut the threads, just so. Okay, 1/4 inch. All right, and now underneath, I don't want this seam to flip up. There's nothing worse than flipped out seams. So I'm going to put my finger here and my stiletto here and try to keep it so the seam doesn't flip up on you. Ta-da! How's that? People, once they do this technique, they go, oh, there's no other way, because they're not always perfect the other way, and these are going to be perfect. Okay, we got it. Honk, honk. That looks weird, huh? How are you going to do this? Does that look like geese? Whoop. That looks like geese. Whoop. Ah! The light bulb went off, right? 4 of them. Okay, so we want to press these seams flat. So you just take this, fold it over. Do you see the seam right here, the red thread? Just clip to the red thread. And that's so you can now make everything lay nice and flat. Okay? So how you keeping up with me, Teresa? You doing good? Oh my gosh. Sue Bouchard was the master at geese. She loved doing geese. Okay, so good. Now comes the ruler. Okay, if we can just find it. Okay, I'm going to use this small turnable mat. You can get mats that have like things underneath and such, but sometimes it's just having a little mat works really good. Okay, we want to square this to the 1.5 by 3 finished geese. That's the red line. So you drop the red line on the seams.
Can I show you a little trick?
Oh no.
Really quick. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. No, I learned this from my
There
students.
is a pink rotary cutter behind you. Did you
Oh
want
yeah,
to-
I don't know why. I'm not used to that cutter, but I'll blame the cutter. There is a possible problem if you're going to cut, zip, zip, zip. It's really easy to go, oops, cut into the opposite geese. So to avoid that mistake, the first thing you can do is turn the larger goose, just line it up
And put the 1/4 inch line right on the tip.
on the tip, and then, whoop, doesn't have a thing on it to make it not slip. Let's see. Is this the way you do it? Yeah. See, you knew that little trick. Elle didn't know that trick.
Well, I sort of do.
Okay.
I always cut it in half first too.
Okay. So then you don't have any problem.
Okay.
No
Okay.
accidents.
Okay, no accident. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, so now I already have one side trimmed off. Good. So now I'm going to go this side, right? And I'm just going to swing it around and go to the second side. Honk, honk. Look at that. Look at that. That's really good. Okay, so what I was going to show you, I do always cut it in half first. So I just use this one and just go and then cut it. I'm okay. Thank you, Patty. Okay, so now I'm nearly done. And turn the mat around. And now that I've trimmed these 3 sides, there's a little bit left right at the bottom. So you just turn it like that and do like this. 1, 2. Perfect. Perfect. And so, Teresa, you come and trim these because I'm going to tell my silly jokes. My silly goose jokes. Okay, so now,
I'm sorry. Did you trim both?
okay, so now when you're young and you're perky, you're just like this with your geese, right? Except that now I'm 74 and I have to look clear down here. And then, or when you sleep, you go like this. Okay.
When you turn over on your side.
Yeah, when you turn over on your side, you're like that. Got to play with your geese, right? Got to have more fun. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're doing good, aren't we? So if you keep on going, you need to have your 3.5 inch fussy cut. These should be a perfect 3 inches right around the outside edge. And this and that, isn't that gorgeous? And all we need are 4 little green quarters. I love these green quarters. They're really, really nice. Okay. Ta-da! Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so when you sew them together, there are specific directions on how to press your geese, and actually that's all on page 10 and 11. And once you have your 6-inch pieces made, yeah, are you taking those down? Because they can come down now.
Only one.
Only one. Okay. So it shows you how you press your seams away from the center in the end. Okay, now you make the same size geese with the large part of the ruler, the 3x6. And the center is really your 6-inch. Your 6-inch star. Beautiful. Okay, so Teresa is on the move. I better grab this. I can see. Whoa, she's hot. Okay, so if you want to turn the page, we have the half square triangles, and unfortunately my my artist is colorblind. And he did really good on page 12 whenever he talked about the plaid green for the wall hanging. You need 2 of these 7.5 by 15-inch squares. He was okay in the background. But then he doesn't know on the middle one, he wrote plaid green. It's not really green at all, is it? What is it really? It's like pink or red, right? And is the background that color? No. Those are two wrong colors. Read the colors. Read the words. Oh, wait, don't even read the words. Look at the picture.
There you go.
Just look at the picture, okay? Can you just circle the picture and say, okay, forget that. Merrick doesn't, he can't see that. But anyhow, there's 3 different sets. The plaid green in the background, the plaid red in the background, and then the background in medium. They all are 7.5-inch by 15-inch pieces. They are very, very large. You take, for instance, the first one is the plaid green and the background. You place them right sides together. You draw a center line down through the middle and draw diagonal lines, and then you you sew a 1/4-inch seam on both sides. Okay, so on both sides, do you have 6.5-inch fussy cut rulers? Yay, now you have it. So you can just go like this, and you can go like this and cut it, and you can cut it again one more time. Okay, so you could do it one of 2 ways. You could take these big triangles and you could put this line the diagonal line on the 6.5-inch fussy cut ruler, and then you could go ahead and cut it, trim it, 1, 2, cut off your tips, don't let your tips hang out, okay? And then you can press it to the dark, or you could press it to the dark first. Ta-da! And then just take your whole ruler. Yep, 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 yep. And you could take your new fussy cut ruler, put the lines right on the seams. That's good. Here, put it on your turnable. little ruler. It happens to say quilting a day on it. Is that cool? Okay, hold it down. See, if you spread your fingers, I know Patty mentioned about no Invisigrip on the back. Actually, it sends a glow when it's on the video because of the light, and so we don't use it, but you can't. I trimmed 2 sides. I completely turned it around, and I have the 2 sides left, and cut. Ta-da! Is that beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful. And so now Teresa has the one that is in the middle, the same large scale print, yep, with the red check going right there like that. Is that pretty? And now we're going to go to the second, go the row in the top. Woo! But we didn't actually sew that one. No, we didn't sew it.
Well, you put the little stars on the ends of these 2. Oh, you need to sew it together real quick. Oh.
Yeah, we don't even have those pieces. We don't have these pieces.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Don't worry, just
magic.
show it.
The magic of video. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what the whole big discussion is. We screwed up. Look on page 13 with the large scale, with the medium and the background. They make points, and so this time it's really smart if you press 1 seam in and 1 seam out. Then
Follow directions.
yeah, read the pattern. We forgot to read the pattern. Do you see it says press 1 seam in and 1 seam out? And that way, when you do that, you can put these 2 pieces right sides together and they will lock. Okay? So this seam is going up. This is going down. You just lock them. You sew that seam and then you press them open. And that works really good.
And you do on all 4 sets.
Mhm.
Yes,
All
it's
4
right
sets?
there.
Yeah,
4
1 for
sets.
each. Yeah.
And then you can talk about the start.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the stars go on each end. I think I was supposed to have, supposed to finish my star. Now I know. So now comes the green checks on the top, and outside are the 2 stars. And that's gonna go.
Yeah.
You want me to put them on top? I was going to do it.
Yeah,
on the
you can
bottom.
put it on the bottom.
Yeah, and if your fabric's directional, like those little mice fussy cuts, you would want to make sure that they're all right side up. Oh,
Ah, is it beautiful? It's beautiful.
This section is for your left side.
oh, okay. For the lap, yeah, we have an extra row.
Uh-huh, and at the bottom of that page, it says just 1 sentence at number 5. It says repeat with 2 sets of green. And so again, you should do your seams in opposite directions. And this is actually the top row for the lap. If you look on page 15, then you see this is the way the green goes at the top. And just figure out so that the seams are going so that you can lock them and sew them together. Oop, do we have any more? Okay, you need this one. You need this star, right?
That's just for the wall hang.
Yeah.
Okay, put that on there.
In the bottom one is for the left side.
Cool. Oh, and if you did fussy cuts on your stars, kind of make sure you turn them in the right directions. And then they'll look really good there. It looks really pretty. What do you think?
And the important thing to follow the pressing instructions. So when you sew all these pieces together, the seams will lock perfectly.
If you look on page 14 and 15, there's little seams. Actually, there's little seams. They are very little. My artist always likes to make things to scale. It goes, to scale, Mara, you can't see them. However, if you look on page 15, he outlined them and they're much brighter. Do you see that? Now you can see them. We all need magnifying glasses to get up there close and look at them, huh? Yeah, so it's really, really fun to do. Whoops. And I want to show you something. We're going to end our show with more history.
Oh, okay.
So, did I show you the picture of George Rapp?
Yeah.
Did you see him? Yeah. Wow, look how cool this is. This is called Father Rapp's Seat. Father Rapp's Seat, and it's still in Harmony. I think there are 274 steps up to Father Rapp's Seat, and here's the little steps. Can you see they go up, up? So this is the deal. We would go to our grandmothers. I'm going to tell stories. We would go to our grandmother. She would give us a little bit of money. We would go to the candy store and buy candy and popsicles. Popsicles. And we would climb those 274 steps up to George Rapp's seat. And Mara thought he was being funny. Whoop, it's not there. Okay, and here his seat is. It was carved out of the rock. It looked over the town of Harmony. He could watch those men tending to the grapes, and it was really fun. And we would go, and he had this little crevice in the side of the rocks, and we called it Father Rapp's refrigerator. And we would put our popsicles in there just long enough to say we used Father Rapp's refrigerator. It was just really fun. So anyhow, all of this is history. And then this is the one that I showed you. This is the inn. It's just beautiful. It's still there. It's a restaurant now. But the story is there's a ghost. It's supposed to be a little girl in a white dress, but she was a very friendly ghost. And they said that whenever the ghost was around, they could feel a little bit of heat swishing by. So my niece and I, Amy and I, decided we wanted to find the ghost. And we climbed to the second floor of the inn, and there was the attic door. And we pulled it open, and it went swish. It freaked us out. We screamed and went running down the stairs. It was unbelievable. It was just so funny. And then I think she is still there. And this is the last thing I want to show you. The temple. This is the cemetery, and the cemetery was surrounded by rocks because it was a commune. It was communal living. The individuals that passed on did not get their own headstone. They were just all put in, it was a whole graveyard full of bodies but no headstones. Only Father Rapp got a headstone. And they built this stone gate, and it's to resemble the 10 Commandments. The 10 tablets from the 10 Commandments. It was a rotating door. It weighed thousands of pounds, and you could take your one hand and push that door, and it rotated around. And you could go into that cemetery and see it. It was very, very exciting.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah, I found out all kinds of things reading this. And I just really loved it. We love to go there to Harmony. My dad took us there just recently. One of the last things he and I did, and looked all over. Harmony, the blessing, the fellowship. Thank you.